It's a beautiful day to be alive, DUFF McKAGAN.
Yes. Yeah.
I got you in studio. You look good. You look healthy. You look beautiful.
Thank you.
And that's it. What's happening?
Yeah, Chris, man, we just lost, 2 years ago?
Yeah, it was 2 years yesterday.
Yeah.
I seen somebody put it up. That's why I was like, You knew him from Seattle.
Yeah,
You knew him before you came down here?
I did.
No shit.
Yeah. And then Susan Silver was pregnant with Lily when my Susan was pregnant with May. So we had two pregnant, wives together and had little babies.
So his oldest daughter is Susan's?
Yeah, Lily is
shit.
is 18.
The one he was bringing on stage and singing with her, with him?
That's his second oldest daughter.
No shit.
Yeah.
So you knew those guys. Was he really a cook at one of those places that sell salmons?
Man. We were all cooks.
What was the name of that chain?
I think he was at Roy's Bait House. It's actually Ray's Boat House.
Ray's Boat House.
Yeah, Roy's Bait House.
And then what was the other one that just sold salmon and shit like that?
Ivers?
Yeah.
Ivers is killer. Yeah, I mean, that's how you, like, if you were a punk rock kid or whatever in Seattle, you did construction and you were a cook. You were in the back. So you started as a dishwasher because we had blue hair, we had whatever. We weren't presentable to be a waiter, a busboy. You had to work back behind the line. And so all of us probably are great cooks to this day,
And you knew him. You knew the guys from Alice in Chains, the Pearl Jam guys.
Alice Chains guys I met later because they were down in Tacoma mainly, like when they were starting up. I left in '84. I'd heard about Alice in Chains starting up. I did meet them when I moved to LA in '84, and when those bands started to get big, Pearl Jam and Alice, Soundgarden. I was like the Seattle welcoming committee, So the first time Alice came and played in LA, got up on stage and played with them. They came to my house afterwards for like 3 days. Pearl Jam guys as well. So I knew, yeah, of course. I mean, Seattle. You've lived in Seattle,
yes,
and you lived there back in the '90s. It was very kind of provincial, very close knit music community. It was that way in the '80s, and Seattle was kind of way off the beaten track, especially in the '80s. Before the internet and all of that. Punk bands would come through. Black Flag came through. DOA, of course, were from Vancouver, BC, but we were way up there. And people thought we lived in teepees and, whatever in the 80s. And that made this really close-knit music community. We were always sharing ideas and sharing equipment in garages to rehearse in or basements or whatever. And, it rains there. So you spend your time in basements honing your craft and creating weird music that, you don't know if the rest of the country's into. DC had their scene with Minor Threat and Bad Brains. LA had their scene. San Francisco had their scene. Seattle had its scene, but nobody else knew about it until it kind of broke in '88.
I didn't even know Seattle existed until the Supersonics went to the playoffs in like '79 when I was a young kid.
I was there. I went to one game of that.
Jack Sikma?
Jack Sikma just going in the Hall of Fame.
My favorite player was downtown Freddie fucking Brown.
Come on.
Drinking a brown bag at the end of the bench and shit.
What?
The coach would put him in like, Freddie Brown, we're down 8. Go do your thing.
Yeah.
He was built chubby, 5'9". They had him at 6'1". That was a lie. He was like 5'9".
Yeah, but Dennis Johnson.
You had the Wizard, his brother, Gus Williams.
Oh, man.
Oh,
come on.
Ray Williams, his brother. He was playing in New York. Seattle, when I was a kid, that's how I first got attention to Seattle.
Yeah.
I was like, that place is fucking nuts. And I'd watch downtown Freddie Brown. And they lost to the Bullets.
No, we won.
You beat the Bullets. That's what it was. Okay.
We might have lost the year before.
Okay, something.
But we won. That was our only championship until the Seahawks won the Super Bowl. That was our only Seattle championship. Was the '79 Supersonics.
Isn't that stadium, the Seahawks, like the loudest stadium in the NFL or something?
They kind of designed it. Seattle's loud, like rock concerts and everything. It's always been like this, and I think that's built out of because we were so far up there that we wanted to make sure bands knew that we appreciated them, and the same is true with sports. Like the Sonics games were the loudest. And then they kind of took this loudness of Seattle and constructed this football stadium where the seats come. It doesn't make good radio, but I'm making a steep V shape. It just comes straight down to the field, so it feels like the fans are on top of you, and it's sonically super loud.
It was weird because that's what brought my attention to Seattle. I liked how they played basketball, so I'm like, I'm gonna have to go up there.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm gonna have to go up there just because of the basketball.
Good team in '95.
Now
too.
I'm a kid. Now I'm a fucking kid. You know, I'm 13, 12 when they first went. 77.
Yeah, we're the same age.
Yeah, I'm a year older than you. So I remember being a kid playing basketball. I would write down Gus Williams' move and go to the basketball court and shit. You know, there was no camera in those days on your phone. And then
you'd write down the move.
I'd write down the move while I'd watch it.
Amazing.
And I'd put like a number to it and the whole thing. And then I looked at, when I got into comedy in 91, the best logo in comedy was Seattle. Like somebody had put time into this fucking logo. And it's like the towers, the twin, there's something, the sky, whatever the fuck it is.
Space Needle.
The Space Needle. And there was like a face on top of the needle and it bent over. And I'm like, you know what, man? I've always wanted to go to Seattle. This will be it for comedy. And then, ba-boom, the music.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then once the fucking music, I was living in Denver and I'm like, I got to get to Seattle. I mean, this is the weirdest story. I'm like, I got to get to Seattle. And I meet a fucking girl in Michigan, and she goes, I'm going to Seattle. And I was like, you're not fucking going to Seattle. I mean, I was like, come get me in Boulder. And she sure fucking did.
Wow.
She came and picked me up in Boulder. We went to Seattle. And by the time I got up there, you know, Soundgarden was huge.
Yeah.
You guys were the kings, right? 95. Yeah. You guys were on top of the fucking world.
Yeah.
I mean, and that's what's crazy. Like, by the time all that Seattle music came out, fucking Guns N' Roses is just huge.
Yeah.
You know, one of my all-time favorite videos is Sweet Child of Mine. MTV didn't really have a lot of videos that year. And Sweet Child of Mine was on MTV 2 times an hour, every fucking hour. And I remember I was going to get locked up that August. I was going away to prison. And that's all I did all summer was work, go home, and watch MTV. And even when I got locked up, I took that cassette in with me.
Nice.
Of Appetite for Destruction. What a life you've had. So you got a GED like me. What made you quit high school in the 10th grade?
I was playing music. I mean, back then, you did do-it-yourself punk rock tours. I was in a band that started like going up and down the coast and going other places. School wasn't really like, 8:30 to 3 o'clock. School wasn't conducive with me having a job.
We're going in like fucking Marines, you understand me?
Welcome to church, motherfucker.